Hi, ladies and gents, and today I'm going to review the mother, quite literally, of what is the slasher horror genre, Alfred Hitchcock's 1960 film, Psycho. This movie, as I said, practically invented and pioneered the slasher genre. Everything from Halloween to Scream is indebted to this film. It is a masterpiece of cinema, in my opinion, and is one of Hitchcock's best-known films that he ever made in his career. It stars Janet Leigh as Marion Crane, who absconds from her employer with a quite sizable amount of money, which a client was putting aside for to put into his bank to give to his daughter, I believe. And she takes away that sum of money and runs off to start a life with her boyfriend John Gavin, playing Sam Loomis in the movie. The film begins differently to how it ends, which is something that Hitchcock used quite often in his movies. In this film, it begins almost like a crime caper kind of movie. She takes the money and runs, and we think the movie's going to be about her. But as we all know, she dies. This isn't a spoiler. She dies 40 minutes into the movie or so, and it takes on a completely different slant for the remainder of its runtime. It becomes a psychological story about the disturbed, titular psycho Norman Bates in his lonely Bates Motel. The film is very, very daring for a movie made in 1960. It includes just themes that the studios didn't want to fund this movie. They wouldn't give Hitchcock the money to make it, so he had to self-fund this film, putting his house up for mortgage in the process. And the production of this movie is detailed in the excellent 2012 biopic of Hitchcock by the same title, The Titular Hitchcock. I'll review that movie at a later point. This one, it just Hitchcock liked teetering right on the precipice of what was acceptable in terms of censorship. The Hays Code at the time was very, very rigid and wouldn't allow things. And in the infamous shower scene, you think you see scenes of a knife hitting flesh, and you think you see female, anatomy on the screen, and you don't. It's all tricks, editing tricks. They're all edited together quickly, so you think you're seeing things you aren't. And it's just masterfully done. And yeah, there isn't a lot you can say about this film, which hasn't been said countless times already, so I'm kind of presumptuous adding to the pile of critics on this film, but I think it was the beginning of what we now know as the horror genre, as it is today. And it just pushes the boundaries. Like, it shows a level of violence and sexuality and deviancy which was just not seen in movies of that time. Like, you hear the word transvestite mentioned in a 1960 movie, which is, was quite surprising, I thought. And yeah, the movie just goes into some dark stuff, although the book on which it is based apparently was even more dark than the movie version is. I haven't read the book by Robert Bloch, but the screenplay by Joseph Stefano, who later went on to create the seminal TV series The Outer Limits, actually, did the screenplay for this film, and this film apparently pares it down from the book, which is based on the real-life serial killer Ed Gein and his crimes. So, compared to the actual horrific crimes and the book, this pales into insignificance. But this is no insignificant film. This is a milestone film, and for many reasons. It's been debated so many times over the years. It's been parodied so many times over the years. In The Simpsons, even The Simpsons did their own take on this film. It's been remade abysmally, I might add, by Gus Van Sant in 1998. Shot-for-shot remake, and they still couldn't get it exactly right. Like, it still didn't measure up in any way to the original film, in many, many people's opinions. It's been made into sequels. There's Psycho 2, Psycho 3, and Psycho 4. I think the third one was actually directed by Anthony Perkins, who's in this film, as Norman Bates. And I haven't seen any of them, and I think probably should remain that way. Like, I'm not really that interested in seeing them. Hitchcock wasn't involved, and few of the original cast were involved. I mean, they could be good. I might, check them out, but I don't know if I'd pay for them on DVD. There's a TV series of Bates Motel, which is like the early life of Norman Bates before the events of Psycho. I haven't seen it, but maybe I should, like, catch it online somewhere. Um, I have the DVD and I also have the Blu-ray, which comes in the Hitchcock Masterpiece Collection. Um, if you're a horror fan, you have to own this film. If you're a Hitchcock fan, of course, you have to own this film. If you're arguably, if you're even a fan of cinema, you have to own this film. This is just one of those films that everyone's heard of and everyone has some opinion of, whether they like it or dislike it. This movie terrified me as a kid. Like, I couldn't watch it. I had to watch it through my fingers as a child. This movie was terrifying. And I think it still is one of the most terrifying movies ever made, even to this day. Maybe I'm a big girl's blouse, but it is a pioneering and terrifying work of a true auteur of suspense cinema. What are your thoughts on Psycho? Please do let me know in the comments. I'll have some more reviews for you shortly. This is Adam Olsen for now, signing out. Have a good day.